Hello everyone and welcome to TeenzThurzo. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow is Friday. See you?
True.
Yeah, it's Thursday. You know what? This week has gone. You know the year is racing. It's November now. The year has gone. Time has gone.
Time can really fly.
Yeah. Anyway, not here to talk about time. Here to talk about humility. Now, of course, there are so many ideas that come up when someone says, I am humble, or someone talks about humility. What are the ideas that you see people throwing around when they say they are humble or they have humility?
First of all, different people have different perspectives about humility. Some think that poverty is humility. Others think that keeping quiet is humility.
And others think that dressing simply is humility as well. But you know, so when you look at it from that way, you kind of feel that it's just scratching the surface. You know, it's just just crumbs. But I want us today, just in these 3 minutes or less, just give a sort of a deeper dive into what humility is. So, when you talk about humility, where do you think that word comes from?
First of all, the word humility comes from the word humus, which means soil. We are called human beings because we are created out of dust.
This dust here?
Yeah, this dust here we are stepping on.
Hey, you know what? If I switch. Man, yeah, made from this stuff here, you guys.
Yeah, God created us out of the dust.
This dust, yeah.
Such that we may not have any reason for pride.
Exactly. I think that's a very good point you bring up, because Genesis 2:7, where it gives a far more detailed account of how God made man. So it says, and God made man out of dust.
Dust.
Yeah. But there's also another thing that I'd like to touch on, the last bit of that verse, because it says he breathed into the man. Okay? So which means that man's lifeblood, just the very life of man, that didn't come from him just from nowhere. It comes from God, because God breathed into him and became a living being. So I think, in addition to us being from out of that stuff, we cannot be proud about who we are. I think also that very aspect of God breathing into us, I think it also enables us to understand and to acknowledge that we are dependent on God for life in general.
True.
Exactly. So what do you think about that?
It's true, you have to be dependent on God, because the word Father means source. He's the source of life. The Bible also says, seek me and live. It means if we don't seek God, we cannot live. Living, I'm talking about being in contact with God. You can live this normal life, but living the spiritual life, you need to be in contact with God.
For sure. And I think it also comes back to also our nature as human beings, because after the fall of man, when sin came into the world, we became what they call autonomous human beings. We naturally say that we can sustain ourselves and independent. I don't need anyone else. But of course, that brings in, and this being that will cause a bit of pride, brings in pride. The pride comes in because of that, because we think we can sustain ourselves. But I think what we should also realize as human beings is that we should have the very fact that God breathed into us. We should surrender our lives, our living, to God. Just as you, for example, you've rescued someone, or you've raised something, and then you raise them up and they become big and strong, and then they can go away. If say that person or thing then come back and appreciate it, you feel and appreciate it. You get it?
True.
Yeah. So I think that the very same thing that's very same thing. I feel the very same thing should be happening here. The interaction with God as well, because it is Him who breathed His life into us, and more than that, it is Him who paid the price for our sins. Okay?
True.
Because it is only by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ that we are able to be reunited with God. On our own, we couldn't. Okay? The chasm of sin was so wide. We tried in our own strength, but the very fact that we are born in sin, we couldn't. But Christ, who came in, who was born to a virgin, he was born to a virgin because if he was born by normal regeneration, like the human beings, he will also be born in sin. Okay? But he was born to a virgin because he was supposed to be separate from any other human beings, but that he would be human, but he'd still be separate. He'd be special. Okay? And it is because of that he managed to keep his holiness at the same time be human. Okay? And he lived the life that we ought to have lived. Okay? And then he gave up his life for us. He stood in our place. Our sin was imputed on him. And
True.
he imputed that's his righteousness. And the fullness of God's wrath was poured out on him on the cross. So that now us as human beings, we have nothing. We have no excuse now.
True.
For example, we have no excuse. We need to we as human beings need to humble ourselves and to surrender everything that we have to God, because it's only through Christ that we can get to God the Father. He is the only way, the only way, the only life, and no one gets to the Father except through him. So the only way we can get there is if we humble ourselves. We need to humble ourselves because in him we live and move and have
Our being.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you have to say?
And since he died for us, we have to live for him. He died for us such that we might live for him. Yeah, basically that's what I can say.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us here on TeenzThurzo. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And of course, we'll see you next Thursday. See ya.